Anon, brother. I want to watch this.
I gotta say, we watched this trailer for my news podcast, and this looked like the most boring, generic science fiction movie.
Oh, you're right.
God damn it. No.
Except for all the POV sex.
Oh my god, there's so much POV. Okay, so the best way to kind of sum this movie up, and for anyone that's a huge fan of Black Mirror, the best way to describe this is this feels like an extended episode of Black Mirror. Which, for the first half of this movie, me and 90s were watching it, and Ganja showed up at some point. We were legitimately enjoying it because it showed this interesting. Where basically the basic part of this movie is everyone has either in their brain, that's not really explained, but it's not supposed to. But basically what it is, they have some sort of technology in their brain that everything kind of lights up when they look at it. They look at a paper towel, it'll tell you paper towel made by whatever, and this is how old it is. They'll look at random walls, and the movie does this where it shows like this is what we would see, this is what they see, and they see advertisement all over the place. They see, they'll walk up to a storefront, and then the watch will appear on their hand. They'll be like, oh, this watch costs this much. Check it out. And the whole movie is based on that, and you're following a police officer and they show his day to day where it's like, oh, what happened to my son? He's been missing for 3 days. Oh, let's, go through the records, and they have access to everyone's cameras because this whole thing is recording your every single moment of your life. So they the police have the access to it. So they find this guy's son, turns out he committed suicide. This woman comes in and said, oh, I've been robbed. So they find the robber, and that's kind of how this goes. But then this guy goes, wait, oh, there's some weird shit happening. This woman she just isn't there anymore. What's going on here? And it turns out as it goes on, and this is where the movie kind of gets more and more boring when it turns into this like chase movie, because they're trying to find this girl that's able to fuck with essentially reality, where she's able to kind of mess with the eye implants and make them see things that aren't there or delete things in general. And that's a huge deal because it's like, this is our number one thing. We can solve every crime just by going through the recording and figure out who was there. But this girl starts deleting shit, then we don't know what the fuck crime is. And that's the basic premise of the movie. But I feel like the movie it has to extend itself because it feels like, well, you have to be a movie. They could have cut 30 minutes out of this movie, and most of it is a pointless sex scenes. Like, there's just sex for no fucking reason. There's just dialogue for kind of no reason.
I was very confused at some of the scenes because, like, this got to be a Netflix film because if this was actual theatrical release and R17, man, there was like some damn near POV scenes that they shoot.
Yeah. Oh, really? Okay. They had this one shot, and I swear to God, this movie doesn't seem particularly expensive, except for maybe some of the After Effects. But there's one shot where they're basically doing the whole gun. You'll find it in a trailer. They're doing the gun thing. But anybody that knows how eyes work, you can see your fucking nose. But the way the gun thing, it's like here. It makes no sense. It's one of those things where it starts off relatively interesting, like a Black Mirror episode. This is a normal part of life. This is how we do things. No one's questioning this stuff because it's so normal that it makes perfect sense. Like, yeah, here, I'll send you, I went to check out this girl. I'm going to send you the recording of me checking out this girl. It's like everyone can kind of do that. Like, I could send you what my life was, what I did yesterday. That's a normal part of life. But then as they start going into essentially the plot of this movie, it just starts being boring. Then at the hour mark, they just go crazy for no reason. Then they forget about it. And it just drags on to where it ends. And you're like, well, I guess I watched it.
Man, this is so sad because this is the guy who wrote Truman Show way back in the day. And he's just
that makes so much sense.
Yeah, he's making crap movies. But the thing is that makes me really sad too is that I love Clive Owen and he looks bored. Oh,
he is so boring in this movie. He walked out of Children of Men going, yeah, okay, I'll just do this again.
I don't know how homie can be bored while he's having sex.
Oh my god, he's so bored during sex. He's having sex with Amanda Seyfried and still looks bored.
He's having sex with Amanda Seyfried's looking like and still looking bored.
Not as shitty as some of the other stuff we watched, but it was like it almost had something Netflix almost.
Honestly, it's a fucking avoid it, or if you really like this type of sci-fi shit, maybe you stream it and give Netflix that view, but honestly, avoid the fuck out of it. It does nothing different out of like everyone says, a Black Mirror episode or Minority Report, so I don't feel the need to actually go back and watch this film again, except for maybe seeing a few POV shots of Amanda Seyfried,
I would give it an avoid it, where it's like, if you're a fan of Black Mirror, you've already seen this movie. You've already seen it. Like it's you've already watched it. It's called Man on Fire. Maybe Playtest. Maybe Entire History of You. It takes from a lot of those episodes.
That one, Entire History.
Yeah, it's more like that one. But when you see like some of the other stuff, like it takes a lot from Black Mirror. So if you're a fan of Black Mirror, you've already watched it. If you're not a fan of Black Mirror, I still say avoid it because it's such a cool concept. It's such an interesting concept, but that trailer is the whole movie.
Julian's saying, so what you're saying is there's a better POV scenes than Monkey with a Gun available now on YouTube White. Yes.
I don't think it might have better ones, but you don't want to see it.
On the white part.